before making a job offer. When employers consider qualifications first, more New Yorkers go to work. That makes businesses strong and powers our economy. To file a complaint or report a violation, and for employers who want free trainings on the law, contact the Commission on Human Rights by calling 311 or visit nyc.gov/human rights.
Comenzando el 1 de enero, hay una mejor manera de llegar al trabajo con la Ley de Beneficios de Transporte de la Ciudad de Nueva York. La mayoría de negocios con 20 empleados o más de tiempo completo en la Ciudad de Nueva York deben ofrecer un programa de ahorros para transporte al trabajo. Tanto los empleados como los empleadores ahorran. Llame al 311 para aprender más sobre esta ley.
Remember, for more information about New York City government services, dial 311 or visit nyc.gov.
I'm Roy Mogolansky, Executive Director for the City of New York Office of Payroll Administration. Did you know city employees can save money on commuting expenses to work? When you sign up for the city's WageWorks Commuter Benefits Program, the funds for your commuting costs are set aside from your paycheck before taxes are taken out. So you pay less in taxes, up to $1,200 a year if you take mass transit, and up to $2,400 a year if parking is part of your commute. Visit getwageworks.com/NYC.
Attention all New York City vendors. This is Lisette Camilo, Commissioner of the Department of Citywide Administrative Services. As of July 1st, 2016, email will be the primary way to notify vendors of available business opportunities for a request for bids and proposals. Be sure to enroll, update your business information, and include your email address in the Payee Information Portal at nyc.gov/PIP or call 311 for assistance.
Remember, for more information about New York City government services, dial 311.
This is New York City Comptroller Scott Stringer. It's my job to protect the city's bottom line and ensure that every New Yorker has equal economic opportunity and access to government. My Community Action Center is here to help. If you need assistance from my office, from questions about your pension, a claim against the city, or even concerns about a possible labor law violation, call us at 212-669-3916.
Hello, this is Donna Corrado, Commissioner of the New York City Department for the Aging. Elder abuse comes in many forms and may include financial exploitation, physical, sexual, or emotional abuse, neglect, or abandonment. Concerned family members, friends, and neighbors can help. If you hear threats or yelling, see bruising or other suspicious behavior, and your gut tells you something is wrong, reach out to a trained professional for advice. Call 911 in an emergency or 311 and ask to speak with an elder abuse specialist and do your part to protect our city seniors.
Remember, for more information about New York City government services, dial 311 or visit nyc.gov.
Did you know that NYC Health and Hospitals serves 1.4 million New Yorkers? Our health system includes hospitals, neighborhood health centers, nursing homes, and post-acute care centers. We are a home care agency and a health plan, Metro Plus. Our talented and diverse workforce is uniquely able to offer high-quality and culturally responsive health care to patients and families. Visit us at nychealthandhospitals.org.
Brooklyn Bridge Park keeps getting better. Hi, I'm Regina Meyer, president of Brooklyn Bridge Park, and we're thrilled to welcome visitors to another exciting season on the Brooklyn waterfront. This summer, come visit our brand new marina, climb the bouldering wall at Main Street in Dumbo, or have a barbecue at the Picnic Peninsula. There is truly something for everyone. Visit brooklynbridgepark.org or call 311 for more information. See you at the park.
Remember, for more information about New York City government services, dial 311.
Hello, this is Gladys Carrion, Commissioner for the city's Administration for Children's Services. Is your teen acting out, running away from home, skipping school, using drugs? Did you know that the city's Family Assessment Program, FAP, provides support to families who are struggling with their teenagers? FAP can help you reduce conflict and connect you to family counseling, substance abuse services, crisis intervention, and other supports. For more information, call 311.
Hi, I'm City Controller Scott Stringer. As the city's financial watchdog, it's my job to root out waste, fraud, and abuse in city government, and I need your help. If you know of someone ripping off the taxpayers, of city property being wasted or misused, please let me know by making an anonymous call to 212-NO-WASTE. That's 212-669-2783.
Remember, for more information about New York City government services, dial 311 or visit nyc.gov.
Hello, I'm Donna Corrado, Commissioner of the New York City Department for the Aging. New York Connects is a trusted place for people of all ages, regardless of income or disability, to discover ways to remain independent at home and in their communities. And if you are in need of skilled nursing care or residential placements, we're here to help. To learn more, call 311 and ask about New York Connects today. Thank you.
Did you know Metro Plus Health Plan, part of NYC Health and Hospitals, is the plan of choice for 500,000 New Yorkers? For nearly a decade, Metro Plus has been the top-rated health plan in customer satisfaction. Metro Plus offers affordable health insurance coverage for New Yorkers of all incomes, including a plan with $0 to $20 monthly deductibles. Find out more at metroplus.org.
Remember, for more information about New York City government services, dial 311.
Criminal record? You can work with that. I'm Human Rights Commissioner Carmelyn P. Morales. It's now illegal for most NYC employers to ask about criminal records of job applicants in ads, applications, or in interviews before making a job offer. When employers consider qualifications first, more New Yorkers go to work. That makes businesses strong and powers our economy. To file a complaint or report a violation, and for employers who want free trainings on the law, contact the Commission on Human
Just a few moments, we'll proceed with the scheduled bill signing ceremony and the hearing. But before we proceed, Commissioner Bratton and I want to take a moment to talk about the tragedy in Orlando. And this is something people all over this city have felt deeply. Again, we are a city that knows too well the effects of terror. Our hearts go out to all the people of Orlando, and particularly those families that lost loved ones. Our hearts and prayers are with them. This is the worst mass shooting in United States history, and it is sobering, and it is, again, a moment we reflect on the changes that we have to make in our nation so that the day will come when we no longer see these tragedies. It was clearly not only an act of terror, but an act of hate as well, directed at members of the LGBT community and the Latino community. And we have learned in the last few hours, very sadly, that we've lost one of our own, Brooklynite Enrique L. Rios, one of those killed in Orlando. And the thoughts and prayers of all New Yorkers are with the Rios family. From the moment we learned of this shooting, we took decisive action here in this city to protect our people, and I want to commend Commissioner Bratton and the leadership of the NYPD for quickly implementing a plan to reinforce key sites around this city, to get out and strengthen our critical response command, and to particularly focus on sites of importance to the LGBT community. We are very proud of the fact that we have the finest police force anywhere in the world. We also have the strongest anti-terror capacity of any police force in this nation, and one that we are able to use very, very quickly in times of crisis. Over 500 officers dedicated to anti-terror work as part of the plan we agreed to last year with the City Council. And we thank the members of the City Council for their leadership and support, and part of a larger plan that will lead to ultimately 2,000 more officers on our streets by the end of the year. So in the coming days, you will see an expanded police presence, many key sites around New York City, and again, particularly at sites of importance to the LGBT community, including at tonight's vigil. I said yesterday that we live in a state of vigilance here in the city. We respond to incidents that occur around the world in a very targeted fashion, a very strategic fashion, but we live in a constant state of vigilance, and we have ever since 9/11. Over the last 15 years, there have been 20 terror plots that either originated in New York City or directed toward New York City, all of them foiled because of the exceptional work of the men and women of the NYPD, the intelligence gathering capacity, and the extraordinary work that's done on the streets of the city to prevent terror. We have to be very clear about the fact that we cannot give in to terror. Terrorists want us to change our lifestyle. They want to make us back away from our values. They want to undermine our democracy. We cannot be intimidated. We cannot allow ourselves to be intimidated. The people of New York City do not intimidate easily, and New Yorkers should go about their business knowing that the NYPD is protecting them. At the same time, every New Yorker has the opportunity to help the NYPD, and if at any point there's something suspicious, it is crucial to alert the NYPD to that fact. We've talked about the phrase, if you see something, say something. That is more true than ever. So it's incumbent upon all New Yorkers to help the NYPD protect us. We'll stay vigilant and we'll stay true to our values at the same time. And that means we reject hateful voices and exclusionary voices. We reject any efforts to divide us, and we stand in solidarity with our Muslim American community, with so many people in the city working every day to make this a better city. We reject any efforts to set the Muslim American community apart from their fellow Americans. Finally, we have to be very clear and very honest about the fact that these tragedies occur because guns are so widely available and our laws are insufficient. Commissioner Bratton will speak in a moment, and he has been a brave voice over many years, speaking out as the leading police official in this country. He has stood up to the NRA and all of the other forces that try and hold us back from sensible gun safety legislation. I think I was asked a question today on the minds of many people: when will we get to that point where something changes? What tragedy will it take to change the course of this nation? I hope it will not be because of another tragedy. After Sandy Hook and Aurora and San Bernardino and now Orlando, I think we've seen enough to know we have to make a change. And I believe the vast majority of Americans want a change. They do not want to see these horrible incidents continue. It's time for Congress to act, and if Congress refuses to act, they're simply not doing their jobs when it comes to keeping the people of this city safe and this nation safe. Just a few words in Spanish. Todos estamos de luto por la tragedia en Orlando, la peor masacre en nuestra historia moderna y un evento en el que murió Enrique Ríos, un residente de Brooklyn. Sin embargo, nuestra ciudad no se dejará intimidar por este acto de odio y terror. Ninguna ciudad en el mundo está mejor preparada para prevenir y responder a actos de terrorismo. Como siempre, les recuerdo a todos los neoyorquinos que, si ven algo, digan algo y avisen de inmediato a la policía. With that, I'd like to bring forward our Police Commissioner, Bill Bratton.
Good afternoon. Following up on the Mayor's comments relative to this city's preparedness to both prevent as well as respond to terrorist-related activities. Our predecessor, Mayor Bloomberg, his predecessor, and my predecessor, Ray Kelly, after the events of 9/11, created in this city the country's most comprehensive set of capabilities to deal with both the prevention and response to terrorism as they knew it then. Starting in 2013, however, the terrorist threat began to morph in a very different direction, potentially even more frightening direction because of its capability to create fear, not through massive planned events such as that occurred in this city on 9/11, but something that we just saw in Orlando, something we saw a few weeks before in San Bernardino, something that we see all too often in America, mass murder. And so beginning at our time in 2014, we began to very quickly adapt the structure of the NYPD to meet the new threat, ISIS, the new threat that seeks to inspire, and certainly the events in Orlando right now look like they were an inspired event. The FBI is following up to see if it was enabled or maybe directed, but at this time we know certainly it was inspired. That understanding that the social media capabilities of ISIS had expanded dramatically in the world that we live in, where social media has become so much a part of our lives. We have adapted the capabilities of the NYPD with the support of the City Council. We're here, the President, and several council members, and the Mayor certainly. And you're well aware of this, the idea that the department was expanded by 1,300 officers after losing almost 6,000 in the preceding dozen years. A significant number of those resources have gone into what you now know as the Critical Response Command, the counterterrorism capabilities that they possess, as well as the SRG group. In addition, we have sought to expand dramatically our relationship with the FBI, and we are now working more closely than at any time in history with them, in that we now have probably the highest level of intimacy that has ever existed between our two organizations, particularly in this area of dealing with terrorism. And that's critically important because we need to have seamless exchange of information. So over these last several days, as that investigation has gone forward down in Orlando, we have been briefed continuously, and in fact are part of that investigation as it relates to any potential New York nexus. So I'm just reinforcing the Mayor's comments in the sense that this agency, this department, is in fact the strongest in America next to the FBI in terms of our capabilities, the enhanced capabilities where we over the last year have increased by 55% the number of personnel focused very specifically on the prevention or capability to respond to an event if in fact we were to have one. The pace of action against the city has increased over these last 2 years, the number of plots against the city that have been thwarted, and it is our expectation and anticipation that that will continue to be the case. But we will be committed to defending every aspect of this city, every component of the vitality of this city, and that includes the community that this month is celebrating so many of the gains that they have made over these last number of years, but a community that is still very susceptible to the issue of fear, to the issues of being singled out. And the events down in Orlando certainly reinforce that while there's been great progress made, there are still too many that would seek to attack this population, attack this group as they seek to basically fulfill their constitutional liberties as we guarantee them. This department, this city administration is committed to ensuring that we will do everything in our power to ensure, particularly in this very special month for them and the events that are coming up, the parades and other events, that we will be there for them as we are every other day, but particularly at this time of need, at this time of needing to reduce the fear that they're facing. And we, the department, the NYPD, will be there for them, and we'll be there for every New Yorker. We'll be there for every visitor to the city, and we'll be there to ensure that we are here to protect, to defend, and to, when necessary, respond. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Okay, we will now proceed with the hearing related to the series of bills known collectively as the Criminal Justice Reform Act. And I want to commend the Speaker and the members of the City Council, the tremendous hard work that they put into this legislation. I can say as a witness to all of this work, this was the legislative process at its best, a serious, sober, well-researched effort that has led to legislation I think will have a profoundly good impact on this city. And I also want to thank them for the close partnership with the administration and particularly with the NYPD throughout the process. This legislation will play a crucial role in building a fairer criminal justice system for all New Yorkers. It will help us drive down crime and at the same time reduce arrests and incarceration. And this is a crucial point. Those two concepts are not mutually exclusive. In fact, they can and must go together. We need to continue to drive down crime while reducing arrests and incarceration. For too long, one small wrongdoing has come with a huge cost for so many individual New Yorkers. It's taken a toll on New Yorkers' lives and futures, limiting and in many cases eliminating their opportunities, and prevented New Yorkers from getting housing or jobs, jeopardized their immigration status or their eligibility for college financial aid. And this is just wrong. A minor, nonviolent act of poor judgment should not determine one's destiny. These bills reform the way we penalize low-level offenses, and at the same time, they do not sacrifice our quality of life. They make sure that each offense is accompanied by an appropriate enforcement response. Currently, those who commit low-level offenses are often issued a criminal summons or are arrested. Under the new laws, police officers will still have the option to issue a criminal summons or to make an arrest to enforce the law. But with these adjustments of criminal and civil penalties, we can expect that our officers will use civil penalties with greater frequency. That means a person who litters or makes too much noise, for example, is more likely to go through the civil administrative justice system than the criminal justice system. Let me talk about the bills that we have before us. Intro 1070A adjusts the civil penalty and reduces the potential imprisonment term for littering or urinating in public. The sponsor is Councilmember Rory Lansman. Intro 1058A reduces the civil penalty amounts for making unreasonable noise. The sponsor is Speaker Melissa Mark Viverito. Intro 1067A establishes a civil penalty and reduces the potential imprisonment term for carrying an open container of alcohol in public. The sponsor is Councilmember Vanessa Gibson. Intro 1056A lowers the criminal penalties for breaking Parks Department rules from misdemeanor to violation and reduces civil penalties with appropriate exceptions for more serious violations. The sponsor is Speaker Melissa Mark Viverito. Intro 1059A authorizes oath to offer the option of doing community service in lieu of paying a civil penalty for certain low-level offenses. It also authorizes oath to dismiss these offenses in the interest of justice. The sponsor is Speaker Melissa Mark Viverito. Finally, the following bills add transparency measures to our reforms. Intro 1057A requires NYPD to issue guidance to officers on when to issue a criminal summons and when to issue a civil summons. This guidance will be made available to the public. The sponsor is Speaker Melissa Mark Viverito. Intro 639B requires NYPD to issue a quarterly report on criminal and civil summonses issued by offense, the race, age, and gender of the person to whom the summons was issued, and where the summons was issued. The sponsor is Councilmember Giovanni Williams. Intro 662A requires NYPD to issue a quarterly report on desk appearance tickets, or DATs, issued by offense, the race, age, and gender of the person to whom the DAT was issued, and where the DAT was issued. The sponsor is Councilmember Mark Levine. Altogether, this package of legislation unites fairness with safety, and with the goal of reducing unnecessary arrests while protecting the quality of life for all New Yorkers. I want to thank so many people who were part of making this legislation a success. Parks Commissioner Mitchell Silver, Sanitation Commissioner Catherine Garcia, DEP Commissioner Emily Lloyd, the Director of the Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice, Liz Glazer, and again, sponsor of Intro 1070A, Rory Lansman, sponsor of 662B, Mark Levine. Thanks to all of them. And now it's my honor to introduce someone who worked so hard to get the council and the city to this day, the Speaker of the City Council, Melissa Mark Viverito. There we
go. Before I start, I want to thank the members that are here, Councilmember Vanessa Gibson and Giovanni Williams, and just join in the sentiment that has been expressed by our mayor and the police commissioner with regards to the Orlando shooting. And it's just, really it's hard to even find words to express the horror and how terrifying this moment is for us. But obviously, we can't waver, and we have to be resolute in continuing to defend and embrace the values that we uphold, not only as a city, but as a country, and not allow this moment to further divide us. And unfortunately, we have some irresponsible individuals that are attempting to do just that. So thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your words and also for doing everything to continue to keep us safe. So with that, I really wanted to speak to this issue, obviously. That is why we're here. This is a proud day for the city of New York. Today, New York City is standing up for justice, for progress, for fairness. Today, New York City is living up to its highest values. 1 year ago, we set out with a clear purpose to bring more justice to our criminal justice system, a system that we knew was broken, that didn't make sense. Yet this was the reality for thousands of New Yorkers every year, predominantly young people of color, whose lives and trajectories were forever changed by their interaction with the criminal justice system for having committed one of these low-level, nonviolent offenses. And to be clear, we all paid the price for this injustice. These summonses left our city with 1.5 million summons warrants. It was tax-paying New Yorkers who foot the bill for locking up individuals who didn't need to be locked up. And it was our city who shouldered the cost of public assistance, homeless services, and other support for New Yorkers who couldn't get a job or find a home after getting a criminal record for a low-level, nonviolent offense. This was not justice, and it didn't make sense, economically or morally. In my State of the City address in 2015, we promised that we would begin to tackle these issues head-on. We promised New Yorkers a safe city, but where the penalties actually fit the crime. We promised justice, fairness, and equity in the way our city would approach low-level, nonviolent offenses. Today we can say, promise made, promise kept. The Criminal Justice Reform Act will divert over 100,000 cases from the criminal justice system every year, save almost 10,000 people from a permanent criminal record, and prevent approximately 50,000 or more arrest warrants from being issued for these low-level offenses. It will keep our city safe, while bringing more justice to a criminal justice system that needed it for far too long. Today would not have been possible without the year and a half of thoughtful dialogue with the council sponsors of this legislation, Council Members Gibson, Landsman, Williams, and Levine, all of my council colleagues, Commissioner Bratton and the NYPD and the Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice. I will also take a pause and say the City Council staff, obviously led by Laura Popa, and all of those. We put in so much time into this issue. I've said it before, we are at a unique moment in our nation's history. Cities and states are engaged in a much-needed conversation about how we approach criminal justice as a country. New York City is at the forefront of these debates, and we are not afraid to lead. I hope that what we are accomplishing here today will galvanize other cities to look at their own systems, the faces in their own jails, and think about what they can do differently, because the price of doing nothing is far too steep. And I'd like to just say a few words in Spanish. Este es un día de orgullo para la ciudad de Nueva York. Hace un año nos propusimos un propósito claro para traer más justicia a nuestro sistema de justicia criminal, un sistema que sabíamos que estaba roto y que no tenía sentido ninguno. Sin embargo, esta fue la realidad para miles de neoyorquinos cada año, predominantemente jóvenes de color cuyas vidas y trayectorias cambiaron para siempre por su interacción con el sistema de justicia. Era nuestra ciudad que se encargaba del costo de nuestro sistema de corrección, la asistencia pública, los servicios para personas sin hogar y otros apoyos para los neoyorquinos que no podían conseguir un trabajo o encontrar un hogar por tener un récord de antecedentes penales por un delito menos grave y no violento. La ley de reforma de justicia penal desviará más de 100,000 casos del sistema de justicia penal cada año, evitará que cerca de 10,000 personas tengan un expediente criminal y prevenir que aproximadamente 50,000 o más órdenes de aprehensión se otorguen por un delito menos grave. Asimismo, mantendremos nuestra ciudad segura, mientras que traeremos más justicia a un sistema de justicia criminal, lo cual necesitábamos desde hace mucho tiempo. Simplemente el precio de no hacer nada es imperdonable. Así que muchas gracias al alcalde. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you very much. Again, want to thank all the leadership of the NYPD for the role they played in working closely to achieve this legislation. I want to thank the First Deputy Commissioner and the Chief of Department who are with us, and now it's my honor to introduce again Commissioner Bratton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Adding to those thank yous is Deputy Commissioner Larry Byrne and his staff that have done a great job in the negotiations over these last now almost 18 months. This situation is a win-win for all concerned. That my position throughout this process has been that the officers of the NYPD needed to have a tool that would allow them to, when necessary, be able to take a more assertive action when necessary. And we have maintained and preserved, with the support of the City Council in these negotiations, the idea that all of these offenses remain subject to an arrest. But that does not mean that every one of them will result in an arrest. A doctor, if he can cure your illness with an aspirin, is not going to admit you to a hospital. Well, similarly, if I can cure with a civil violation or a summons, short of an arrest, I'm going to deal with the problem that way rather than committing somebody to Rikers for a day or 2 days or a week or a month, or as we've seen in some particularly egregious circumstances where they languish there for months on end. That's not what the criminal justice system should be about. I am very comfortable, based on the experiences over these last 2 years that you've been reporting on in the press, as the city has gotten continuously safer, as reflected in the crime statistics that we report to you, that we are able to do that in a way in which my officers have to make few arrests, have to spend many tens of thousands less hours in court. Those are hours that can be spent back in the community, working with the community. So this is a win-win. And I want to thank, again, the leadership in my department, who have ensured that our officers will have the tools necessary to keep this city safe. And in many respects, this is an expansion of the tools that they will have. Because effectively, the civil summons is something we've been doing in transit for years. I'm very familiar with the transit tab system, the tab summons system, and this effectively is modeled somewhat after that system. And that's worked very effectively for us in transit for many, many years, and I'm very comfortable it'll work for us going forward with this new system. So I applaud the mayor, the city council, the representatives who are here, and the members of my own department who have basically resulted in these bills that will be signed very shortly by the mayor. This is good government at work, and our commitment is that we will be more than happy to report on our activities in the months and years ahead, because I'm very comfortable that activity will continue to show reduced crime and increased satisfaction on the part of the citizens of this city with their police department. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Now I'd like to call forward the Commissioner of Oath, Fidel Del Valle.
I just want to make a few points because a lot of people are confused as to what the Office of Administrative Trials and Hearings is in New York City, also known as OATH. OATH is the central tribunal for administrative hearings in the city of New York, and with few exceptions, most tickets issued in the city of New York wind up at OATH in one venue or another. Our goal under our mayor since last year when I came into office has been to bring OATH into the 21st century. We encountered a morass of conflicting regulations, rules, procedures, and processes, and our goal, together with this legislation, is to create a single uniform process across the city for all tickets issued in the city of New York, uniform summons and uniform technology. We encountered something like 14 different computer systems that didn't like to talk to each other. And we are working to eliminate those issues. Our goal is the ease of navigation for anybody having to deal with the system, and the clear rules in processing and text messaging. We found that when you compare the responses to criminal court summonses, that is summons part summonses, and oath summonses, the ratio is pretty much the same. That is, about the same number of summonses are dealt with by somebody just deciding to pay the summons and end it there. But the same ratio of people decide that they want a hearing, and they have a hearing. And roughly the same ratio of people decide to ignore the summons, and in criminal court that winds up with a bench warrant, and at oath that winds up with a money judgment. We are looking at different processes, including the idea, and we're working very closely with the IT people at the police department, of including a telephone number, specifically a cell phone number with a summons. So we send people reminders that they have an appearance at court, or at a hearing. And oddly enough, as incredulous as some people may be to that idea, when it was tested out in some of the community courts, it's found to work. And finally, we have a community service component, which is something totally new to Oath. That has two parts to it. Community service, as has been classically understood, has been basically doing stuff like cleaning the street or cleaning graffiti or something like that, and in many cases that's appropriate. But the object of the exercise is to change the behavior of people who are behaving in an antisocial manner. And sometimes community service could be nothing more than basically taking somebody aside and putting them in a class and teaching them good manners. As strange as that may seem, a lot of the things that criminal court judges tell me that they encounter are people who don't understand that what they're doing is socially unacceptable. And we intend to devise a mechanism and a program that will deal with that, and hopefully that will help eliminate recidivism, because after all, the object of the exercise is to stop people from doing antisocial activities. That said, in about a year from now, this program will be in full bloom, and we will see how it's working.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you very much, Commissioner. All right, now it's a chance to hear from some of our colleagues from the City Council who played a crucial role in the creation of this this legislation. And now I'd like to introduce the chair of the Public Safety Committee and the sponsor of Intro 1067A, Councilmember Vanessa Gibson. Give you a little height. Hold on, you get some height.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And I, too, want to join with our mayor, our police commissioner, and our council speaker, and all of my colleagues here, in certainly expressing my sincere thoughts and prayers to the people of Orlando, knowing that they are our brothers and sisters, mourning the loss of so many innocent people, and certainly praying to God for healing and comfort and strength. We stand in unison and solidarity against all acts of violence, against hatred and bigotry and racism. And certainly I want to thank our mayor for his leadership in recognizing that, you know, we must stand against these acts of hatred. So I join with all New Yorkers in expressing my sincere condolences to all of the families impacted. And with that, I am honored to be here with all of my colleagues in this momentous occasion, 15 months of a lot of work by many, many staff and many agencies, and here we are. The Criminal Justice Reform Act of 2016 will give our police department the force and the tools to address many low-level offenses for what they are. Infractions that we take seriously, but not ones that should yield life-altering consequences. This balanced approach in this act recognizes that low-level offenses should have proportionate penalties and will reduce the burden on our criminal court system. Make no mistake, and let's be clear, anything that was unlawful yesterday remains unlawful today, and it remains unlawful tomorrow. These bills will not impact New Yorkers' quality of life, but will simply allow our officers to more reasonably penalize those who commit low-level nonviolent offenses. How vital is summons reform? The NYPD issued just under 300,000 criminal summons in 2015, down from just under 360,000 in 2014, and from a high of almost 550,000 in 2009. These 8 bills will divert at least 100,000 cases from the criminal justice system altogether every year and eliminate the possibility of giving offenders a permanent criminal record for many of these low-level offenses, saving close to 10,000 New Yorkers from receiving a permanent criminal record each year. It is hard to understate how big of an effect these bills will have on our criminal justice system. In 2015, the NYPD issued 104,859 open container summonses. This one offense is higher than the next 4 summons offenses combined. I am extremely proud to have Prime-sponsored Intro 1067A, which creates a reasonable civil penalty for possessing an open container of alcohol. And I'm thankful that with its passage, New Yorkers will no longer need to worry about jail time when they're cited for sensibly drinking from an open container of alcohol. This Criminal Justice Reform Act represents this administration and this city's aggressive push for fairness, dignity, and equity in the criminal justice system, and was truly a joint partnership between the mayor, the police department, the administration, and the New York City Council. I want to thank all of the staff of our legislative division, led by Laura Popa, Matt Gawal, Rachel Cordero, Rob Newman, Brian Crow, Deepa Ambakar, Beth Golub, Lori Wen, Rob Calandra, and Ellen Eng, Faiza Ali, and Theodore Moore. From the mayor's office, I want to recognize Saba DeBezu, as well as from the NYPD, I want to recognize Oleg Chernovsky for their hard work in being a part of this process. And certainly to my staff, Dana Wax and Caitlin O'Hagan, thank you for the countless hours to get today's bills done. The CJRA was a group effort and will have a profound effect on New Yorkers and police community relations in the many, many years to come. I am proud that today is here, and I am thankful for all the work that occurred along the way. Thank you to our mayor, Mayor Bill de Blasio, our speaker, Melissa Mark-Viverito, our police commissioner, Bill Bratton. Thank you to all of the executive members of the NYPD. Thank you to our oath commissioner. Thank you to sanitation as well as the Parks Department. Thank you to my colleagues who sponsored these bills, Councilmember Rory Lansman, Councilmember Mark Levine, and certainly Councilmember Jemani Williams for their incredible leadership. This package is going to make a more fair and equitable criminal justice system, and I am so proud that we are here today. Thank you once again.
Thank you. All right. Finally, just have to get the bill number right here. The sponsor of Intro 639B, Councilmember Jemani Williams.
You can clap, sir.
You can clap. That's right. You encourage it. Congratulations.
Thank you. First, obviously, I want to lend my my words of condolences, and I know everything. A lot of things were said before, but as we do that, I want to make sure we understand as we continue the condolences and the prayers every time this happens. It's kind of hollow if we don't act, and if this nation doesn't act. And we have to remember, as we talk about whether it's the egregiousness of hating someone for who they are, or adopting a perverted part of a beautiful religion, it looks different when you have access to guns and when we have access to high magazine guns. And so without those changes, we'll keep repeating these words over and over, and I hope Congress is listening. At some point, their prayers don't mean as much if they are refusing to act. When it comes to these bills, I want to say congratulations to Speaker Melissa Mark-Viverito, to the Public Safety Chair Vanessa Gibson, to the Mayor Bill de Blasio and the Commissioner, the NYPD and all the leadership there, Councilmember Roy Lansman and Mark Levine, staff Rob Newman, Brian Crow, and Nick Smith from my office. This package of legislation, I think, is fantastic. I always want to make sure that people understand that people who represent the communities we're often talking about do not like violence in their communities and want quality of life just as much as anyone else. We would not do anything that we believe would diminish this. I would assure you we get more quality of life complaints than most of the people who are complaining about what we're doing. What we want to make sure is that we address those quality of life issues without having the undue burden that so often goes along with it. Someone, as mentioned, should not spend a life being burdened with a criminal record or spend months or years in jail for an open container. No one wants anyone urinating on their streets. As was mentioned, we didn't take away tools from the police department. We added tools to the police department so that we can make things more fair and more just. That is a real thing that's going on here, and anyone who is saying opposite is making it very difficult to have a conversation that we have to have, that we must have. All of us who represent these communities believe in personal responsibility, but we also know and understand there have been structural deficits in these communities that have lasted way too long, whether it is the criminal justice system or ways that they are policed. We have to have this conversation. It's difficult when people make it more difficult. And I'm thankful for this mayor and for this commissioner for having this conversation with this speaker and this council so much easier. I was involved in a conversation not too long ago that even where we agreed, it was contentious. So I'm very excited that we can have this conversation in a calm manner, even if there's this disagreement. And the other thing is, we have to understand that this conversation doesn't end. So some reason when we pass these bills, people say, didn't we do that already? And the answer is no. You have to continue having a conversation about better policing, about safer streets, about criminal justice. That conversation can't end until the things we are talking about have been addressed. In terms of my bill, it will require the NYPD to submit quarterly reports to the mayor's office and city council on criminal and civil summonses. This information, which will be categorized by type of events, race, type of offense, race, gender, age, and location, will provide a wealth of information on police practices. As we have discussed, many of us believe with data, some of the policing has been disproportionate, usually around black, brown, and poorer neighborhoods. We want to make sure with these changes, we can see where we have to address and add more resources, where there may be some disproportionate policing, and make sure we're addressing that. This is not about demonizing a police department. This is about making a police department better. We want to make sure that community and police relationships continue to grow and continue to get better. We want to make sure that these bills move forward in doing that. And I also hope that when things such as Orlando happen, we have cases here, that our police department, not just here, but in Orlando, seek some therapy as well, because I can only imagine what our police men and women see every single day, and I hope to get the help that they also need. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilmember. Thank you. We have no one signed up for public testimony, so I'm just going to say a few words in Spanish, and then we're going to sign these bills. Hoy estoy firmando un paquete de leyes para la reforma de nuestro sistema de justicia penal. Estas leyes modifican la forma en que castigamos delitos menores y las sanciones penales y civiles. Con ellas, estamos creando un sistema más justo y a la vez protegiendo la calidad de vida de todas las personas que viven en nuestra gran ciudad. With that, we will now sign the bills.
All right, we're going to start the first bill with 8. We'll do another 8. 8 on this one? Yep. making it up now. 6.
At least you're honest about it.
Yeah.
Okay, now what do you want? Happy with the
Yeah, we're fine. We're good here. We'll go
Say
one.
This one. And that's the new codes if you need any answers.
Right.
Monty, how many do you need? Well done. Well done. Laura, well done. Glad we all used over. How many for Rory, JP?
Just give me 2 on Rory. 2. And then the next one will be 2 on that.
2 and 2 it is. You want to be?
2 for me, yes.
2 for you.
Yes.
The speaker is being your honest broker.
All right. As always.
All right. Last 2 on Levine go to you. Unless anyone else needs one.
Anybody did not get
2
more?
Okay.
Okay, 2 more for Gibson.
And 2 for Levine. But 4. It's all about to happen now.